work around the group now, just in terms of like a bit of a recap for anything that you didn't manage to get into the specific questions that I kind of asked you. So Andrew, I'm going to start with you as you kicked us off kind of like, initially, which is great. So in terms of like, advice that you would give to companies, organizations who are looking to communicate effectively across their whole workforce, what hints, tips, suggestions would you give? And specifically, if there's any kind of type of technology that you would recommend that they use?
Yeah, so I always go, there's five. I'm a big fan of using my hands. So there's kind of five things that I would say to people. And it's, the first one is real kind of clarity for people. That's number one for me, 100%. I was very, very curious listening to some of the other guests you've got, just particularly around that whole piece around purpose. I think clarity is very, very, very important. When people understand the contribution they're making. I hate this the expression. I often ask people what they do, and they tend to use what I call my juster response. So they say, I'm just a pilot, I'm just a cabin crew, I'm just a guest service agent, I'm just a barista. That upsets me. That genuinely upsets me. So I kind of challenge them. I say, well, actually, this organization, doesn't matter if it's Starbucks or H&M or Harvey Nichols or P&O, whatever you're doing in the organization, doesn't happen without you. So you're not a juster. So I think a big part of our job is helping people understand how they fit within the organization. So giving them that clarity is important. With that clarity, of course, it becomes much easier for us to give them feedback. So my second point would be really kind of start working on that interaction, that honesty, that clarity between individuals within organizations. I've mentioned it before. Huge. One of my favorite stories is I was out for lunch a few weeks ago with the architects from what was then called Burj Dubai. Of course, your listeners and people here will be more familiar with the terminology Burj Khalifa, which is now called. I won't go into the history of that. But when in 2004, when they were sort of laying the foundation stones for Burj Dubai, as it was then, the architects were telling a beautiful story where they'd been walking around the perimeter of this new building site, and obviously to protect people falling into what was going to be an enormous hole, there were lots of very enthusiastic people building a fence, and they were asking these individuals what they were doing, and of course they were very, very disappointed because the individuals were telling them repeatedly that they were building a fence and they had no real purpose or why they would try to do this. And there was eventually a very amazing guy called Mahmoud who sort of came over and said, sir, I'm not building a fence. And they said, well, what are you doing, Mahmoud? And he said, I'm building the tallest building in the world. And I think the point here is that Mahmoud understood what he was doing. Yes, he was building a fence, but it was actually there was a bigger purpose. And I think our job is as leaders is helping people understand how their contribution makes such a massive difference. The biggest question I get asked, and I had the head of LinkedIn in my office a few weeks ago. I was chatting to some very senior leaders from LinkedIn earlier, a few minutes ago actually, and again, it's career development. You have to be able to kind of help people understand how a career kind of plots together. And we could talk for hours on this, and I won't bore you, but be really mindful of that. And then just back to my kind of favorite topic really is just care. Number 5 is really, really care about your people. Keep it human, build the relationships. I know we've heard that repeatedly in these sessions, but again, relationship, being really careful and really kind. We use there's a platform called Axonify, which obviously maximizes all of our learning sort of micro videos, and it then puts them into, I'm very, very kind of animated with my hands, so please forgive me for that. But it just kind of builds learning content out, and it measures knowledge retention and knowledge application as well, which is great. So it asks, so when you watch a 60 seconds or like a bit of stocks, then it will basically immediately ask you what stocks were saying, and it'll give you a quick quiz on it, which is AI generated, but it'll also ask you what we call a secondary question. And the secondary question or supplementary question, immediately after you answer each of the multiple choice questions, is it asks and tests your confidence level in the correctness of answering those questions. That for me is really fascinating because it gives us some critical data around the learner retention and how people are kind of growing their careers with us. So for example, they may be answering the question correctly, and of course they are high confidence in the answer. So they're saying, I think it's answer A. I'm highly confident it's answer A. We love those people, move them on faster through their learning. There's 2 other groups of people that concern us. The first group are people who are getting the right answer. So it's A, Yeah, but they're saying that they're low confidence in the answer. So we've probably done something wrong with those individuals. What do we need to do to build their confidence in that process? And that's really important. Of course, the area that really concerns me and us as an organization is people who are basically, they're saying it's answer B, and of course, they're saying they're high confidence that it's B. So they've got the wrong answer and they're saying they're high confident, because some people are quite good at blagging it. That's a technical term, I know. So we need to be really kind of mindful of those individuals. And what we're able to do then with that data is say, we actually know that Andrew is blagging it. Let's take him offline. Let's kind of work out why he's doing that. He's perhaps overconfident in that, and therefore we can help him understand, perhaps he's not quite right. So actually having individuals in groups at a certain kind of learning level. So there's some great use of AI and technology available to us now as educators. And I think that's really, really helpful. Not a very succinct answer, but hopefully that gave you a bit of an insight.
Phenomenal, Andrew. Thank you very much for being with us. I really appreciate it. I think I've written down about 5 different keywords that I'm taking away just from your chat today. So thank you.
Very generous.
Emmanuel, thank you very much for being with us today. We just are summing up at the moment. So in terms of advice that you would give from Ennismore to other organisations who are looking at engaging properly with people at all levels and all cultures within their organisations, what would you recommend? And specifically, is there any technology that you would recommend that they harness?
Yeah, I think I need to agree with Andrew, which at the end, the human value will still be things that I want to keep on growing, make sure that soft skills, they're always there. Artificial intelligence has come to us extremely fast, and people, I think, they get very confused and scared in a specific way. But I think they are powerful tools. When you're applying day to day, they can really, make a big change. But the human touch will never be replaced, especially in my industry as hospitality. I'm not saying that, one day we might not see a robot walking around a restaurant in a lobby of a hotel, that's for sure. But, the flair of a person would be always the most welcome around, They say that 3 of the most attractive quality of a person is self-awareness, self-confidence and vulnerability, because again, these are things that you can't really replace. I think people should still focus on themselves, understand who they are, and make sure that they show themselves the true color of the way they are. And then there is tools that they can, empower themselves with. That's it. That's pretty much my suggestion.
Brilliant, Emmanuel. Thank you very much for that. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Much appreciated. Today's topic is talking about communicating with people at all levels of organisations, specifically when it comes to demographic in terms of age. Stuart, can you give us a little bit of an overview in terms of the communication tools that you guys use, and specifically any technology that you'd recommend that companies adopt?
I think technology has to become secondary to really the key point. I think this is about understanding. I think you have to understand your audience that you're dealing with, but also understand your colleagues. You've asked questions today, and I'm sure people will be able to see this, about language, about technology, about other things. And really, in a way, the different age groups between millennials and Gen Zs and what have you are immaterial. It's all about understanding. It's all about understanding what people want from their career. It's understanding how you can best help them, how you can best listen to them, how you can best educate them and help them learn and become a better person in your culture and inside your company. We do it to our customers. We're constantly surveying our customers. We're constantly finding out what their net promoter score is. We don't do it often enough for the people that work for us. We don't try and understand them. We don't try and talk to them in their language. We come up with corporate value. So I think that the technology is simply a method of media, if you will, as if you're talking to your customer. And if you're selling a new beverage, then you're going to a supermarket or you're going to the high street and get people sampling it. If you're selling something else, you'll try a different way. So I think technology is simply a conduit to enable people to differentiate themselves regardless of their age. and just really as a manager, as a C-level or even the lowest person in your business, that customer focused, both internal and external, is of paramount importance. Sorry, I didn't really answer your question there, but I hope it was something you were looking for.
No, I think that was succinct. I think that was very good. Thank you very much, Stuart. Thank you so much for joining today. If you're in the attendees, thank you so much for watching. Next 10 comments are always good, and would be much appreciated. And we'll go from there. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Love you guys. Take care. Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you so much. Bye.